Hello everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. Today is the last of our Money Makeover series. I hope that you have found this rewarding and that you've been able to use some of the tips that you've heard from me and other subscribers. But today I'm going to talk about 8 ways to find hidden money in a tight budget. These are things that I specifically do because I am making less money than I did, say, 3 years ago. And so I've had to make some changes. I'm going to start now with number 1. The first thing, I've mentioned it before, I have a change jar. Usually I end up saving about $120 a year. If you're on a really tight budget with not much left, save all your change. Now, if you don't want to do change, something else I heard one of the subscribers do, they also set aside each dollar that's left over. So they buy something, they got a leftover dollar, they set that aside, and then they see how much they have left over at the end of the year, maybe 200, 100, 500. So that's another idea. You could do a $5 bill. Anything left over, set that aside. I do change. Number 2, we've spoken about grocery budgets. And remember, you don't have to go hardcore frugal. You, for example, if you had a grocery budget of $100 a week for a family of 4, you might just cut it by $10. Then you take that $10, so let's just say you did $90 a week for a month. You'll have $40 at the end of that month. You take that 40, you put it towards a financial goal or savings or debt or something of that nature. So any little leftover, you can set it aside. And so grocery is a good way, but I always recommend, in my opinion, starting out small. Number 3, this one is probably one of the hugest things that helped me in 2020. What I do is I round up my checking. Example, if a bill is $162, I subtract $170. Now I keep track of how much I actually have, but the good thing about that is if you have a home repair that comes up, for example, that's $300, you don't immediately have to go into your savings. You may have that surplus in your checking. So I round up my checking so that I've got a cushion in there. Very helpful, especially in 2020. Number 4, this is another huge one. Many times if somebody has, say, a grocery budget, and I'll just keep using groceries, or it doesn't matter what it is, of $100 a week, let's say that person spent $92 that week. Well, number 1, many folks may either waste that other $8 and don't know where it went, or they insist on using that whole 100 because they have it in the budget. Just because you have a certain amount of money set aside to budget for something doesn't mean you have to spend it all. And if you have leftover money, you can take that leftover money and put it towards a debt or a savings goal. That can be very powerful and useful. Number 5, think of it this way. If you are on a debt-free journey to become debt-free, or you want to save whatever financial goal you have, and let's say you want to pay off debt and you think that if you stick to your goals, you might be done within 8 months. What you could do is just think of cutting back on some things that you enjoy, but think of them as temporary for a short time. What happens a lot of times is when people cut back on things for a short time, after that time is up, they find that they didn't really miss that item that much anyway, and then they find an alternative that they like even better for a better price. So think of things as temporary, not long-term, and that'll help keep you inspired, motivated during your financial goal and debt-free journey. Number 6, and this is something I could do more, make it a game or a challenge. I would like to do more games and challenges on this channel, such as a grocery challenge, a decluttering challenge, things like that, because it can make things more fun when you have a group of folks doing it at the same time. Number 7, I talk about decluttering, but I do things a little differently. These minimalist challenges are fabulous. They talk about keeping things in your life that bring you joy. Well, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm decluttering, but before I get rid of or donate things, I'm taking things and using them and seeing if I want to keep them. Number 1, there are things that you might end up loving and using. Example, my waffle maker. I never knew waffle makers can make so much more things besides waffles. It's so easy and I'm absolutely loving it, and so I'm not going to end up donating that. But there may be other things that you don't use that you do end up donating. So start going through your clothes, your books, your jewelry, your kitchen items, anything like that. Start using them. See if it's something that brings you joy and that you love. And then if you don't want it, then you can sell it or donate it. But try to use it first before doing that. Number 8, last but not least, think about ways to make money. Think about all the wonderful skills you have and all the things you're good at, which I know you're talented. think about that and think about how you can make some extra money on the side. So these are my 8 ways. I want to know from you, if any of you are on a really tight budget, please share some tips that all of us can use that maybe I didn't share that can really be helpful to the rest of us. That's all for now. I love you, appreciate you, and like always, I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.